Hey everyone, we're live. Arsenal Fan Circle here. Pull up a chair. You're all welcome. Despite the result today was a good day. Despite the result, we're gonna get into it. I think last Sunday we said, "Hey, nothing much can happen in 6 days." Uh, on the pregame, I think we said, "Not a lot can happen in Arsenal. It's going to be a boring week." Well, were we wrong? Boy, were we wrong about that. I want to welcome in Stefan here, late again. Just by a few seconds this time, Stefan. Having a quick sig before the show starts. Starting on time. Detention. See me in my office 20 minutes. Miss Norma. Uh, it's Ray being a diva before the start again. Yeah, fixing my hair up. Listen, it's monologue time, so we're gonna get started here. We are going to get started here. Okay. Title of the podcast is Victoria Concordia Crescit, which is Victory True Harmony. And I've prepared this speech here, so I'm going to be reading it, obviously. Back in 2018, the last home game, Arsene Wenger's quotes are, "Above all, I am like you. I am an Arsenal fan. This is more than just watching football, it's a way of life." I think we all feel that way. It's caring about the beautiful game, about the values we cherish. And we're going to talk about them today. The values that Arsenal did not uphold this past week. Let me get into it a bit further, guys. To all the Arsenal lovers, take care of the values of the club. That's what Arsene Wenger said, 2018. Um, I was there. I was privileged enough to hear his words in live. So listen, you may have heard this before. This is my story. This is an Arsenal story. Um, this is my story as an Arsenal fan. As many of you may know, I was drawn to Arsenal by a young manager with a young team. Very much like today, I see Arteta and Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, Martinelli, as I saw George Graham, Tony Adams, Michael Thomas, Paul Davis, Merson, Rocky Rocastle, may he rest in peace. Back in 1986, it was a team full of energy and skill, playing football the Arsenal way. Uh, in the first season, I saw Arsenal top the league for a time, ultimately fall away, but there was hope that this team would evolve. Towards the end of that season, they would go on to win the Littlewoods Cup. My first trophy as an Arsenal supporter. Those days, whenever Ian Rush would score, Liverpool would inevitably win. Well, that didn't happen that day. Arsenal did us proud and won 2-1, 2 goals from Charlie Nicholas. Next season would bring a lot of the final to Luton, 3-2. I'm telling you all of this, guys, because this is what football is. This is emotions, this is memories, this is competitive spirit, and this is a team can win and lose. You go through all of the emotions, and Arsenal pretty much we're going to strip all of that away from us by going to the European Super League. So we know what happened in 1989, the season, on May 26th. Hopefully, we can have a similar night this year on May 26th when we get to that Europa League final. Hopefully, that will happen. The point is that in the last 35 years, I've supported Arsenal. I've lived through every emotion as an Arsenal supporter. As a kid, I reenacted those Wembley glories of those cup finals, recreated goals scored, mimicked goals, celebrated, and enjoyed the first division football titles in 1989 and 1991. Individual league games we won, we drew, we lost. They're all memories. This is what we all hold dearly to ourselves as supporters, and all that was going to be whipped away from us this week. If we'd have gone to a European Super League, it would have been an exhibition style games. We would have played Barcelona, God knows how many times this season, Tony. But through the 90s with George Graham, brilliant teams, resolute defending. We conceded only, I think, 18 goals in the 1991 season, and attacking football. George Graham had some attacking football. He had some dour defending as well. We went on to be a cup team in the mid '90s, very much hopefully like we're going to be this season. We're going to hopefully pick up the Europa League. In 1994, a cup double in 1993. We all remember the FA Cup, Ian Wright, and those Sheffield Wednesday finals. As we did not perform well in the league. Then with the bungs and scandals, Bruce Rioch, first season, Bergkamp and Platt signed. That signaled a new dawn for us. We would go again in the mid '90s under Arsene Wenger. Um, Vieira, Petit, and a whole host of other players bursting onto the scene. The rest is glorious history. League and cup doubles, Premiership titles, won, and our history. Arsenal has history, tradition, and class. Well, we have some more history than maybe class right now. We have more history than tradition, probably. But winning titles at Old Trafford can never be taken away from us. Shide Hart Lane, we won the league there twice. Great memories. Um, where am I? That win against Everton, aptly enough, and we were to play Everton today. Those are memories now. Everton beating us for the first time, I think, in 26 years. Tony Adams scoring that goal. Titles won at Old Trafford, like I said. Of course, there were disappointments. Titles lost, finals lost. But that's what it's all about when you're a supporter. You want to have a competitive edge. You don't want to lose things, but you know that you want to have a level playing field against teams that are better than you, against teams that are worse than you. But you know in the Premier League that there's always that chance on any given Sunday, any given Saturday, any given Thursday, you can win or lose. Okay? I'm in the middle of my monologue, so bear with me for a couple more minutes here. Um, yeah, the whole point is this: as a fan, you want your team to be competitive, to bring the best young players through, to target the best players in the market, and to have rivalries. And we've built up these rivalries over centuries with Liverpool, with Manchester United, Chelsea, Everton today, and other festering rivalries. We want those cold nights in Stoke sometimes. Sometimes we want that. We want to have the romance of the FA Cup. So as a team, you want your team to be competitive, to bring the best out of other teams. Um, Repeating myself here. Here we go. You can chart our decline when Chelsea came under Abramovich. So, as an Arsenal fan for 35 years, I can see the decline. I'm starting to admit and own up to it that Stan Kroenke, while he was a silent owner, maybe he's not the best owner, and we're going to talk about that. Chelsea came under Abramovich. When City came, we were selling our best players to them. 2007, Stan Kroenke comes on the scene. In 2007, the traditions of Arsenal declined. Our tradition was the first to go. Our tradition was the first to go. Our history has been rich. Fans have devalued the tradition of the FA Cup. A cup, a cup that has been in existence since 1872. 149 years the FA Cup has been in existence. I don't want to devalue the FA Cup. Yes, I want to win the Premier League. I want to win the Champions League, but I want to win cups as well. And, this is what it's about being a supporter, being an Arsenal supporter. The FA Cup has become a dear trophy to us over the years. It was our first competition that we won in 1930. So, well, also, it's a cup that we won most recently. We are the FA Cup champions. Yeah, fans will willingly tell you it's not enough. It's papering over the cracks. I don't like that term, papering over the cracks. Since when is winning a trophy papering over the cracks? It is in terms of if you want better, we all want better. We want Premier Leagues. We want Champions League. But to win a trophy in a season used to represent a good season. To win an FA Cup used to represent a good season. I think we've gone to the excess of wanting success straight away now. There's many other teams that have not won FA Cups. Look, that's my monologue. I don't know who wants to go next, but this monologue reminded me of what it's like to be a supporter. 35 years supporting Arsenal, and all of that nearly went away. Yes, I would have still supported Arsenal, but it would have been glorified exhibition games in Dubai, in Asia, in Japan, in China, and in America. So we came very close today, this week, to losing sight of who we are as a football club. And I'm glad that the last 5 days happened. It really shook football. And let's have victory through harmony, because today was a good day. Despite losing, today was a good day. We saw the harmony amongst the fans, and that is a real victory for me today. I don't know who wants to go next, but I'm going to introduce Tony, Alonso, and Gary. Thanks for joining. And I hope that you're still watching, because I went on a long time. I'm going to take a break now and let you guys go for it. Who wants to go next?
The monologue.
Who wants to go next?
Gary,
You want to go, Gary?
all right, I guess I'll go.
Gary's next.
All right, so I guess I'll just kind of, I'm not as scripted as Ray there, but I'll give it a go. So essentially, we've got some book. We kind of had a bookend of games in between a lot of stuff that's going on with us today. With Arsenal. So we had a Fulham game. We had the Everton game. We tied in a game that we should have won, and we lost in the game that we probably could have won. So just not the way our season's supposed to go. And every time we set up a goal and we have expectations, we always fall short, and that's what happened in the two games that we had. But in the middle was a lot of activity going on. Still struggling with the concept of we're still struggling with Arsenal as a team, trying to figure out what we're going to do next, where the future lies, and then no sooner do we lose to a Fulham, that night basically the three letters ESL come up in our vocabulary, and but within 2 or 3 days it's gone now. But for those 2 or 3 days, we had to figure out what the world's going on. What's happening here? Why is our team doing this? Why are they trying to take shortcuts? Telling us they're going to work to get things back, and then they tell us. Then they turn around and take a shortcut to get to where they think they want to be, and not think it's going to matter to the fans. To everybody. I mean, I don't think there's one person that actually wants that, what they want. ESL just is everything against what football stands for, and that's what we saw. Then, also we've got the, I guess one of the things that at least happened in the States here is the Minnesota trial happened. The police officer who kind of started this whole kneeling thing, he was tried and, convicted of all the crimes that were put in front of him. Yeah, but we still are also reminded that with that with the thing, with the Rangers game, the Rangers versus Lavia game, the player that said what he said got 10 games, and the player that reacted got 3. How does that doesn't show that things are changing for the better? So it's I kind of smile, but I'm not really but that's just so that doesn't show us anything good there. So once again, it's another up and down kind of a turn there. Now it's the whole KSC. All right, what do we do with them? They come and they talk to us. We really want to talk to the head man, even though they say Joss is the top man. Nobody believes that. I mean, I don't even think he believes that, because he knows better. Nothing's changed since KSC's been here. The team has gradually gotten worse every year. How is that progress? FA Cup. I heard you saying papering the cracks. So that's actually what it is. I mean, it did not. At some, yes, we won it, and I'm happy we won it. But it hasn't helped us. It hasn't catapulted us to where we would like to be. All it's done is kind of upset us a little bit, because nobody's been able to take that and use it as a incentive for the next thing in line, which for us was to improve in the league. We haven't done that. So yes, it's good to win FA Cup, and yes, it does look like we are being a little bit, I guess how you say it, spoiled, I guess. But I kind of looked at it as a stepping stone, and it wasn't.
Springboard.
I mean, it wasn't a springboard. It wasn't a stepping stone to the next goal. The team did not build on it. So, and then to use that as justification for certain things when you got nothing out of it, you got worse the next season. I don't know how you could say it was a plus. It's a blessing in disguise kind of thing. It didn't help the team. They didn't take that and run with it. I mean, you look at Leicester City. They had one, a perfect season. They were able to win the league, and since then they've been a top team in the league. So obviously it can be done. Yes, it's a totally different run team, but they use that, and they haven't forgotten that they have they can do better, right? And they've been doing that. Different type of team, probably run totally different, much better than us, as we can see. But that's how you use those things, right? To allow you to build for the next step, the next season. Then comes to today, right? Everything's about the protest. All right, the protest. So the first thing you wake up to is one of your former legends basically coming down on a platform, one of the platform leaders, right? Coming down on him, right? That was not the purpose of the meeting, right? That was not the purpose of the meeting. At least that's what we've been led to believe. And one of the reasons why we're even on this platform, and a lot of people are on this platform, is for what AFTV was, right? It's changed since, but a lot of us, probably everybody who's on YouTube that follows football, has come across AFTV at least once. And like I've said before, maybe you don't like how they do things. Maybe you think you can do it better, but it has helped a lot of us to get to where we are. And I find it hard to believe when somebody says they have not. AFTV hasn't been a reason why they're out here doing what they do. I kind of feel like they kind of maybe they kind of didn't pioneer it, but they kind of took it and steamrolled with it. And
let's be honest.
Let me finish. You can
right,
say
it's monologue time, so Gary's got his time.
yeah.
He can
So
go for the next hour if he wants to.
I won't. But that's my feeling on that situation. It was a bad look, especially on a day like where we're not really, if you have a beef with AFTV, this wasn't a day for it. I don't care how anybody feels about it. Just wasn't the day. It's if the protest meant anything to anybody, that was what the main purpose of the day was, and that kind of sullied it a little bit. The protest, I think, went off. It went fine. There were some hooligans, some idiots out there, but that's going to happen. But the message is hopefully clear that, look, no matter what you say, we still have problems with the way things are being run. I think it went pretty well. Now, does that help? We'll see. I think it's just one of many type of activities that the fans, if they want to, if we want to make change, it's going to happen. We can't. That can't just be it, because after that, we'll be back here next year, saying the same things, talking about the same problems, and not seeing any change. So that's how So. Then the game, and like I said, then we kind of have the bookend of games that I think just epitomizes kind of where we are. VAR doesn't help us. We don't help ourselves, in terms of what you saw on the field. We didn't, we had most of the ball most of the game, but it didn't seem like we took advantage of that too much. We made one mistake, and we paid for it. All right. A couple of mistakes, and then voila, the game is lost. Could have been helped, but it wasn't. But so that's how I feel about how things are going. Yeah, can it get better? Yes, but it requires some change, and so far we haven't seen it, at least from the top brass, the owners here at Arsenal. So maybe it will. We'll see. All right, that's it for me.
Hey, I'll let Brownie get in if you have a monologue, or if you just want to reply to whatever both of us have said at this point in time.
What be next, is it?
Yeah, go for it.
Everton Everton. Okay. Right.
Yeah,
so
it looks like
I-
you're winning the bet.
That's not even your team, and you know what? You're supposed to be a Cardiff fan and then an Arsenal fan. Now you're cheering for Everton because of some bet. Come on,
I'm
dude.
just going on the bet.
No, you know you already did it. It's on TV now. We saw you. I saw you.
So, but I think you were in Gary. I think you were in a chat in Ryan's chat at half time, and I said, guys, I'm putting money on Everton to win this. And I sent the screenshot to Ray because I also did another bet which included Liverpool beating Newcastle. But I have a funny feeling Newcastle could get it, so I cashed out. So I had a good night tonight. I understand where everyone's coming from. I think as a lower league fan, I think it's an absolute disgrace what the I wouldn't even call them a Super Six. There's nothing super about it. I think they absolutely disgrace what they've done. I can't. I've been in business. You guys been in business before. These individuals of these top companies, stroke clubs, would have attended meetings and agreed things. Going forward, blah blah blah, for 3 years. For 3 years. And they were stabbing the other clubs or club representatives in the back for 3 years before they pulled out and come public with what they were planning to do. I think an absolute disgrace. Every single one of them needs to either step down or will be removed. However, and I hope as a football fan who has been brought up, I was never for the Premier League, even though I was 11, 12. I'm going to say this. I'm very disappointed that many of the current players didn't come out at the time, apart from James Milner. And the reason I say that, I'll come on to.
We had Hector Bellerin as well.
Did he come out, or did he just say,
I thought he just put a picture out with some words from Wenger.
Yeah,
I didn't think he actually said anything. You can translate all you want, but those weren't his words.
The lead striker come out and said something as well, didn't he? The young lead striker. I have worked in a football industry many years ago for a short time, and I always come to a mindset: every single footballer is a mercenary. The threat after they went public was that no international player would be able to play in the Euros. Okay? The 3 international captains of the home nations, which was Harry Kane, Tottenham with England, Gareth Bale, currently on loan at Tottenham from Real Madrid, Wales, Andy Robertson, Scottish captain with Liverpool. Every single club would have been in the Super League. None of them, bearing in mind the amount of times they have come out and said, I'm so honoured to be captain of my country, blah, 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 blah. None of them come out and spoke out against this. Every single player, apart from Bamford, that's right, Bamford, the Leeds guy, and Milner, Liverpool, it just shows how mercenary mindset every single one of them are, and I do not care. I've seen it with my own eyes before, but this really, really uncovers all the PR bollocks in which every single team have got. They all got massive PR machines, but
look,
doesn't sit
Ronnie,
right.
I think it's important to
relegate them all.
I think it's important to point out what Stephen has said here, and this is very true.
Sorry.
We have to make a distinction. The Arsenal is unfortunately the ownership, the boardroom, the coach, the coaches, the manager, and the playing staff. Arsenal's all under this one umbrella. and this is the problem because we're being tarred by what our ownership has done. Stephen said here, every other club in the league would have jumped at the chance to join. They might as well get off their high horse because
if I can come back on Stephen's point, he's absolutely correct. What was it, 3-4 months ago? Every single Premier League club, apart from Leicester, because I've really got so much respect for Leicester's owners these days. Okay, we need to remember, every single Premier League club voted to charge everyone in the UK 15 quid per game to watch them. Absolute disgrace. I'm sick of it. I'm really sick of it.
Let's get Tony in next. We're in the monologue section, so everyone's going to have their few minutes of fame here. Go ahead, Tony.
First, I'm going to start off by being the devil's advocate here. If you're chronically out just because of this Super League, you're very moronic, very naive, very stupid. If all your neighbors are to go out and join the league, you better go do it too to make money, or you're going to be left behind. Greed's been part of football forever. That's why we're having a World Cup in climate-controlled stadiums in the winter built by slave labor. People aren't out protesting that. People's like the Super League is the birth of greed in football and everything that's wrong with football. No, it's not. It's been there forever. And so I keep being there. All this was an attempt to get more money out of the Champions League, get more of a TV revenue. I think it was all a cat and mouse game. All the teams in the top 6 were looking at this in the summer, and they went quiet when the Champions League announced they were to make changes to the format and go to having 2 or 3 tables in it. But as far as that, I can say is people are stupid for being chronically out if that's your only reason. Okay, going back to what Ray said, I started liking Arsenal in the late 90s because young coach, young players, attractive football, and all that. Everything was going good until Kroenke came in. People want to blame the move to Emirates. It isn't the move to Emirates because we still almost won the Champions League in 06, right before we moved. In 08, we about won the league. If Eduardo didn't break his leg and the team dropped tools after seeing that. Then in 2010, Van Persie got a red card for kicking a ball in the goal because he actually didn't hear the whistle blow. Knocked us out of the Champions League. But
at Barcelona. At Barcelona. So there is that. People can say what they want, but all clubs wanted to be involved, and those excluded were jealous.
Yeah, I agree.
Really, are you done, Tony?
No.
Okay. I'm glad I asked. Because you get ornery if I cut into you.
Well, you're cutting into it now.
Yeah, you leave the window open, birds flying. That's what happened. Gotta shut. You gotta
jump in there and poke the bear. But this club, people were out. I was chronically out then. People were Emery out. I was chronically out. Now people are chronically out. Now I'm chronically and Arteta out because he just isn't up to par. This club's has been in a steady decline. We're in mid-table. Arteta should have been sacked in December when we were sitting there 15th. Right now we're sitting 9th. We can be 11th when the weekend's over. We should be competing on Wednesdays and Tuesdays, not Thursdays. And looks like this next year we're not going to be competing at all unless we make a Europa Cup run, which doesn't seem possible at all. That's pretty much all I have to say.
Yeah, 25 years of European competition about to end. Alonso, it's been 25 minutes. Speak of 25 years. It's been 25 minutes waiting on all of us to get through a monologue. let's have yours, Alonso.
Yeah, so I saw as a partner Arsenal back in 2008-9 season, and like you, Ray, I started liking guys like Van Persie and Fabregas. They played in the Euros that summer in 2008, right? So I just started picking up on them, and the way they played was pretty nice. Arsene Wenger had a good way to start playing football, and and at that time, you had, I believe, like 10 shareholders, and at the time there was no majority shareholders, right? So everything was run peacefully. Everything was going well. We had David Dean still on the team, doing his thing, and then, to me, it all went to crap whenever Arsenal hired Ivan Casitas because he came from MLS. Well, MLS is in the Premier League, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
You got to figure that the way he did football was different, and the way his signings were different, and he got a lot of talking to by his fans because it was weird the way he did things. It was different because we weren't used to that here at Arsenal. And slowly we started progressing. We were doing good in the league. We were finished second and fourth and fourth and fourth and fourth and fourth, and it's how it was. But there was talent there. There was something to build off of. And then every summer there was rumors that Farias was going to go to Barcelona, and that kind of got us angry a little bit because we didn't want him to leave because he was like captain, and that was our future as well. Not only that, we had Jack Wilshere in the midfield, and we had Samir Nasri for like a half a year going good too. And so everything was going good. We had a lot of momentum. We were up and down the table, but mostly the top. But then came February and March where we suffered the most games because we were drawing, we were losing games. But then, we always thought that this team would break through, and then, summer 2011, Fabregas leaves, and then Nasri leaves, and then Van Persie leaves next year, and then Song leaves the next year, and, people don't remember how good Song was, because he was a defensive midfielder, but yet he led that team in assists that year, and he had nothing to build off of. But then, I think during that time, there was some backroom changes as well. You saw the Russian guy, Absimov, whatever his name is, right? Is that right? The Russian?
Arsenal?
With Everton.
No, the owner, the majority shareholder.
Uzmanov, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, technically he's not. But there's another one to the be the front.
Yeah, and so then you started seeing some backroom changes as well, with Concordia coming in and buying shares from people who had, shares within the last 10, very long time, like 60 years, 50 years, and so slowly he was taking over. And then you started seeing changes, which is good changes. We bought Giroud, we bought Kazova, we bought Podolski, and we bought Ozil, and we bought Sanchez. So things are changing for the better. We started getting these marquee signings that we've been lacking, and we started winning Epic Cups, but we weren't improving in the league. Like Gary said, we weren't improving in the league, and we were finishing fourth and third maybe, and things were still, the potential was always there, but we never could ever finish at the top where we should be as a team, And then our best chance was in 2016 and 17 when we finished second to Leicester. And the funny thing about it is that year we beat Leicester twice. So, we didn't win the Epic Cup that year, but we had momentum, right, going into next year because we thought that we could win.
And that year, Alonso, we only actually bought Peter Cech as our goalkeeper. That was the only. We were the only team in 5 leagues of Europe to not buy an outfield player that summer.
Yeah, and as a fan, you felt kind of discouraged by that, but we were still doing pretty good in the league right that year. And then we faded, like we always do. and it was disappointing because we beat Leicester twice, and we had a good run. But then again, we don't do good in the springtime. And the winter and springtime is always the hardest. And
Yep.
it's disappointing because we had a good team that year, and then it seemed like we can never get past that point, And we won out of FA Cup last year, but with the ownership, there's no ambition. So whenever the players see that and the manager see that, then it's strange, because
Yeah.
we're a big team, right? And
as Gary said, you win an FA Cup, and that is a good thing. But it should be a springboard, Gary, to go on. And as Alonso quite rightly pointed out, we won those FA Cups in 2014, 2015, and we didn't use those as a springboard. We bought Ozil, we bought Alexis Sanchez, and we didn't buy again in the next summer. We only got Petr Cech, and that was supposed to be the springboard for us to move forward in the league. Beating Leicester twice, but we weren't consistent enough that year.
No, and then we thought that Granit Xhaka and Mustafi were the answers, and they weren't. So we go back forward, and that's the end of our reign in the Champions League. And now we get a Europa League team, and it's sad, but it's one thing that you also blame the scouting department. You blame Raul. You blame even Casitas, because they don't get it right. And there's talent out there, and it shouldn't cost that much to bring in guys that are way overrated. And it's a mystery to me why you can't spend better, and that's a problem. And that's one of the problems that we face at Arsenal.
Yeah, definitely. So Tony, anything to add on to that, and then we'll take the podcast on to KSC, ESL, and KSC territory here.
Yeah, I'll start off by I wasn't mentioning the FA Cups. We've won 4 of them in the last 7 years. We didn't build anything off of them.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of just pointless because you should be winning that, then you should be going further in the league. Instead, we've been out of the Champions League, and now we're going to be out of Europe. But where he ended at on the scouting, we can't scout players when you get rid of 50 scouts. How can you go scout? You totally tear apart your scouting department.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So, thanks for that,
Case. I do apologize. One thing. When I was in the background, you mentioned that Arsenal won their first FA Cup in 1930.
1930 against Cardiff. We beat Cardiff.
No. We beat Arsenal
beat Cardiff.
27. Thank you very much. I just wanted to put that out there,
Did you know they had beaten Cardiff in 1930?
No comment.
Hey, I wasn't quite finished with my log.
All right.
Well,
wind it up, Alonso. Let's go.
Yeah. So for me, it's been a lot of what-ifs as well, because we have players that were also hurt a lot of the time too, like Rosicky, like Abu Dhabi and Jack Wilshere, and for some cases you could say Ramsey as well, and you could also say what if they were healthy, and Jack Wilshere should be captain at Arsenal, and it's just being a fan of Arsenal is kind of frustrating because I didn't see those little years. I came in really late into the squad, so I didn't get a chance to see Riera. I didn't get a chance to see Bergkamp, Henry. I didn't see Sol Campbell, so I missed that. So I feel kind of bad about that in a way, because though I have passion for the club, I miss the good days. I missed that. So I came in at the time I thought that we would win trophies or win championships, and so I didn't get a chance to touch that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Alonso, I'm at peace with knowing that I've seen the best Arsenal team that I'm ever likely to see in my lifetime. We'll
Now
probably,
you've seen the worst one.
yeah, now we've seen the worst one, right? As Melina said here, what did you all make of the protest today? Too far, that was. Burning the USA flag was very extreme and too far.
No, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But I'll be honest with you, I'm going to hold my hands
It's
up.
it's a young generation,
Yes.
Brownie, that was doing that, right?
Hey, I hold my hands up. Right, many years ago, right? We as Cardiff fans had an issue with them Cardiff owners. We went onto the pitch while the game was going on, and we stormed the boardroom. Right? Okay, we are looking at you're talking about the third or fourth.
You just put that out. You just put that out there on video.
Yeah, no, hey, we stormed the boardroom, no problem at all, and the owners never come back. But those were the days. But burning flags is just immature.
Yeah.
If I'm honest.
No,
with you.
definitely. Look, Gary, today was a good day. There was a good turnout today, and I think.
How many do you think were there?
I mean, it was definitely more than 1,000.
Probably about
I think
2,000.
it was more than 1,000. I mean, there was a lot of people packed in there. If you look, it's definitely a lot of people packed in there. I mean, some people are saying 300. I think that's pretty low. But I definitely think it's 1,000. Yeah. Well, what do you think? It's more?
No, the reason I'm saying, right? I'm not comparing. But
And
when,
Rich, sorry, one thing, Rich, it was not about luck. It was about greed, and it was about fan bases, and it was about stadium, and it was about money.
It's about many, especially the lower league fan.
European Super League was not about merit.
I'm not comparing because many Arsenal fans don't live in the locality, really, I suppose. Over years they moved out of London. But when the Cardiff owners changed from red to blue, from blue to red, sorry, an estimated 3,000 to 5,000 done a protest. Now that was championship level, and if I'm honest with you, as a football fan, as a pure football fan who hates the idea of the so-called Super Six, I think numbers-wise, I'm probably disappointed with the Arsenal turnout. And I'll be honest with you, exactly.
Look,
I would say.
Look, I think you're right. You can be disappointed with a fan base that's so big with that, but I think, as Gary said, there was a good turnout. The message was sent loud and clear. And when Callum Chambers was interviewed, Gary, you could hear the noise outside the stadium, right?
Yep. No, you definitely. I mean, like I said, it was more of making a point, and I think were able to do that one with the fan forum, and then turn around today, and the first thing they bring up when the game is started is the fans outside, right? I mean, I'm not sure I understand what he's doing. Can you guys translate that for me?
I'm
He's fishing.
Fishing rod, and I caught the bait with.
All right.
Yeah. I think the message was sent. The only problem is the message is gonna have to be constant, all right? If we're gonna get anything out of it, or else we'll be back saying the same things, doing the same things, watching the same things, and then expecting it to change.
I'm going to hold my hand up, Gary, and I'm going to say, listen, I thought Stan Kroenke, as a silent owner, could not do real lasting damage to Arsenal. I'm going to say that. I thought that was the case. Now I'm Kroenke out, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of, if he really is, he bought it for an investment, then he's really treating that investment pretty bad, right? I mean, there is no reason why Arsenal can't go out there and get the right people to do at least the top level job. If it needs to be board members, or it needs to be a CEO, director of football, whatever it is, there is no reason why they can't go out and get that person, right?
Or all of the above.
I mean, we could do it all of the above, but you got to start with one of them, right? Usually, when a team's going through a rebuild, they find the top level, and they pick that person. That person picks the rest of the staff that's required, and then you'll see change, because then at least everybody will be on the same page. Right now, you've got Arteta working with Benai, who's never done the job. So there's no consistent. They've never been in this particular role working together. So there's no consistency there. Adu is taking up probably more than he did before. I mean, it's just you got three novices doing this thing for the first time, managing a big club. How are we expecting this to work? You don't put. We talk all the time about about the youth sitting not playing as much, and why do we say that? Because they're just not ready. That's the same thing you got with Arteta, Adu, and Vinay. They're just not ready. They need more time. They can't do this job all by themselves. They can't do it 24/7. They're just not. They don't have the experience to do it.
All right.
And that's why you need to bring somebody else in.
Let's bring this more about grassroots football and what it is about what it's like to be.
Thank you, Lee.
No. What it's like to be a supporter. And Tony wants to get in, but I want to say one thing as well. I've seen this on timelines as well. I'm from Ireland originally. Gary's from England originally, but Alonso and Tony, they are American. They know what they're talking about. They have a platform here on Arsenal Fan Circle, and they do know what they're talking about. Yeah. So to say that American fans or international fans do not know what they're talking about is incorrect.
Yeah,
and we actually, well, I can't say we. I've been here 20 years, right? But they know the fabric of U.S. sports, and they would be the best people to talk to in terms of how Stan Kroenke misjudged the market in England, and how he misjudged what he could do there with Arsenal. So, Tony, you wanted to get in?
Yeah, when Gary was going on about the top level job, we have a former Arsenal player that's stepping down at Ajax this summer. I think Overmars is the perfect person to be director of football, to change the culture. That's the thing that's fucked with a club, been fucked for years, is the culture. Doesn't matter who's manager, it doesn't matter who's players. The culture seems to spread through and through. It doesn't matter who's there. We just have a wrong culture, and I think it's have to start at the top. It doesn't seem like it's at work its way from the players up. It's have to start near the top. I think Overmars is a perfect person for that.
Right. Let's that's a conversation as well for the future as well. Alonso, we want to sort of drill down into what Stan Kroenke was thinking, and what was he thinking? It was about cash, right? And about turning something that we've all grown up with as kids. We've all grown up watching Arsenal, and we all fell in love with the idea that on any given day, we can beat the best and we can be beaten by the worst, Alonso. And that's what competition is all about. That's what relegation is about. That's what promotion is about. And we don't want to be in the Champions League if we don't qualify through the top 4 spots. No, thank you. And that's what was said loud and clear today, Alonso.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the current table, right? And you see West Ham up there. And, I've watched, enough football to know that West Ham usually goes up and down, up and down, up and down the table every year, right? So, as a football fan, you want to see that happen, right? You want to see Leicester do well. You want to see guys like West Ham do well because they do it right. They don't need oil money. They don't need Arsenal money to succeed in the Premier League. And as a fan of football, I'm not just saying that because they're Arsenal's rival, right? I'm just saying it because it's good to see a West Ham do well, right, in the league. But you also, as an Arsenal fan, want to see our team do well too, and where we belong is top 4, but we're not there yet. And I think Tony and I talked about this in the chat, right, in our group chat, how it's been years and years of not doing good business, right, and not getting good signings, not getting good players, not getting enough talent in, and the financial is an issue because no big club should be falling down the table every year, right? year by year we've fallen down the table, and we have talent, but you just not using it right, and because of that, we're now 10th or 9th in the league, and maybe 11th after this weekend. So you have to build on that, and we haven't, and it's discouraging. It's frustrating as a fan, and it needs to be better. It just needs to be better, and the Conkies need to understand that it's not like the teams in the states like Nuggets or Avalanche or Rams. Conky needs to do a better job of managing his franchises even here in the states, and they've gotten lucky here in the states where they've gotten good players through free agency and the draft, and Conky needs to start treating it as an investment and treat it more like the Rams or the Avalanche or the Nuggets, because they're good teams here in the states. So why can't Arsenal be more like them? And it's such the ownership, and then it dwindles down to their finances, and it dwindles down to the head of football, and then it goes to managers and assistant coaches. And right now it's not doing that. It's not doing that good right
now. Tony, real quick.
And Alonzo was talking about luck on drafting players and getting around players, or the right players. And everybody pretty much from our fan base has given the last two windows 8 or 9, the summer and this winter, getting Party and getting Odegaard. And we've been getting the right players. They're just not getting down on the pitch.
Yep. Yeah, we spent just as much as Liverpool, but we haven't spent it correctly. I want to divert it more into Gary. Start us off with do the Cronkies know football in England? Do they understand football in England? That's kind of what I want to get into.
No, can we move on to the next subject? Because there's not much more to talk about. It's like the easiest answer of all. No, they don't know anything about it. They could. There's no way. They never lived in the country, right? They don't. So they never weren't fans of soccer, football, whatever you want. You never heard that. Hear them come up. So do they know the sport? No. But they saw an opportunity, and you know what? I guess that opportunity came about because the Premier League, I guess, allowed it, right? I don't know what the rules are, but it sounds like anybody can come in and buy a franchise, right? And they found a way in, and they took advantage of it, and they're they don't know anything about the sport. There's no way, that how in the world do you run a franchise if you're not even in the same country? I mean, you can't. I mean, so yeah, they don't know anything about the sport. I mean, what's going on? Keep your hands down on.
No, but
do we have an order here?
You can speak.
So I start. Everybody wants to jump in. What's going on? Am I saying something wrong?
I was waiting. I was raising my hand and say I want to say something. When
no, but they don't know. They don't know. They should be able to find the person that does. But they don't want to do that because then it requires it. To me, it's almost like it shouldn't be. It's going to take some work, right? So you're going to have to go out there and do your due diligence, get the right people in there, and they don't want to do that because that requires them actually coming over to England and actually working out of London for a little while to get the right people in, right? That's what it's going to take, and it's not going to happen in a month. It's going to take a lot longer, right? If you're running a franchise and you're not even in the country where it's based, how in the world are you going to get it going? You can't.
I think Stefan hit the nail on the head here. They're not franchises; they're historical entities. These clubs have been born out of the workplaces centuries ago. Arsenal came up out of being in munitions works. The Potters, the Irons, they're all born out of the workplace where it became a hobby. They were playing football as a hobby, and then they wanted to get a team going, and that's how these teams formed, and they're ingrained, Gary, and right in the fabric of the towns that they live in, and the boroughs that the people live in. It's their life, you know.
Yeah, and well, and that only way that makes any sense is if the entire football association actually agrees with it. Because if that was the case, you wouldn't allow certain things to happen. You wouldn't allow somebody who probably doesn't know anything about English football because they haven't lived it, haven't been in that country, come in and be able to buy it, because that's what happened, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, you have to. This is bigger than Kroenke, bigger than Glazers, bigger than Henry. It's bigger than them because
Abramovich.
the league in it, the association in itself allowed it to happen, and now they're seeing the ramifications of it, right? Because I mean, it's not the same, but in the States, I know the owners actually have to agree on the next owner of a team that, if somebody wanted to come in and buy a team, the owners that are already in place actually have to agree to it. There's a reason. It's a totally different reason than what it would be in the Premier in England football, because there's like only 30 franchises. They don't want somebody coming in who's going to shake things up just too much, right? So there's a little bit of I don't want you to mess a little too much with the way things are right now, right? Somebody might come in and change things up, and that's kind of what exactly has happened now, right?
And Gary, if a team in the US wants expansion, they're very carefully vetted that they're not going to impact another city, another owner's coffers. You know what I mean?
Yep. So exactly. I mean, I think it was a little too easy. I mean, it seemed like it was a little too easy, but it happened over a number of years. The Kroenkes coming in and managing, and then having as soon as they hit. I think they hit 30% of ownership, then they can start the process of taking over the team.
I mean,
it's a little that was a little strange to me, but the league itself has allowed this to happen, and now they're seeing the ramification of it. Because I don't think, like, if everybody says it's historical, does the association feel that way too? Because if they did, they wouldn't allow something like this to happen. I mean, right? You kind of don't want to mess up a good thing, because, like you said, it's not it's not somebody it's not okay. I'm going to buy this franchise and then I'm going to move it to a better location, right? Because that's what you would do, right? If you find the location you're at not working to your liking and you're not bringing in the right customers, you're going to move it, right?
Yeah, I had to say something real quick. Sorry, Gary. But remember how maybe Tony remembers this, maybe you too, Gary. But whenever Stan Kroenke brought the Rams from Georgia, what's her name? He promised the people of St. Louis that he wouldn't move the team, right? And lately here, since 2017, whenever Arsenal came to USA, he made out promises that he would be there for fans, he'd watch more games, he would be there in London more to watch Arsenal. But yeah, as a fan, all I hear is broken promises. Do you guys get the same vibe?
Yeah, I think we've seen who the Kroenkes are now. We've seen what they are. But Brownie, wanted to get to you. I know you want to jump in as well. But this all really started in 1992, right?
Yeah. However, it's a few things in which I'd like to points in which have gone on since I last spoke. First of all, I started following Cardiff when they were 91st position out of 92 league clubs. That's how bad it was, right? So I have gone through the tiers while Cardiff have been up and down over the years. And what really, really angers me more, if I'm honest with you, is that currently I don't think, as a lower league football fan and a football fan as a whole, I don't think there's enough money from the Premier League washing down anyway, right? And one of the things that really, really angered me is the fact that because I was around during '92, I remember the quote of, "Oh, if we go to the Premier League, more money will be going to the lower leagues." I remember that. Stefan probably remembers that in the comments as well.
Yeah.
But yet, unfortunately, we have seen more lower league clubs like Bury, like Maidstone, like
Bolton.
Scarborough, blah blah
Yeah.
blah, go against the wall because that hasn't happened. Then lo and behold, Florentino Perez comes out of it on Espanol media, and which the rich football says, you know, the problem people don't realise. Real Madrid and Barcelona have got different structures. Okay, they have to be voted in as presidents. I have been here 4 years. This is the first year I've seen with my own eyes. Up until this year, my football
Where'd everybody
fans,
go?
no, my football
ahead.
fan, my football friends back home. Oh, we need to go to like a presidential structure like Real Madrid and Barcelona. I've seen it with my own eyes. Florentino Perez, basically absolute corruption. How he was sworn in to be president again, because he changed the rules in 2012, which has now stopped challenges go against him in this year's election. This is the same guy. This is the same guy who was calling out the UEFA delegates because he wants to know how much these people are making. The guy is an absolute crook.
Yeah.
And I don't care how the ownership of a football club is, whether it is 100% like a Concordia, whether it is a fan voting structure like Real Madrid, Barcelona. Unfortunately, the reason which the Premier League went as it is, because Europe at the time when the Premier League went in '92 from First Division, Serie A was miles ahead of everybody else. Then you had La Liga, because Guy Lineker, Mark Hughes, and all that were playing for Barcelona.
How
And then
badly?
you had the First Division.
How
The
badly
reason
did
which they done this, the reason which the Premier League opened the doors to ownership, which is what Guy says,
Yeah.
because that was the only reason how the Premier League could become number one. And as a result, the local communities around every single Premier League club have a financial boost. Whether we like it or not, I think is here to stay. Because any other structure, I think will be detrimental to the local community and local economies.
Tony's back just in time, getting liquored up there, Tony.
I'm drinking Yahoo.
Yoo-hoo from Alonso, and what are you drinking, Tony?
Kavak.
A green can.
His pan game needs a bit of work.
Ice chest. What in the world is that? Is that like cheap? Is that some good beer?
IPA.
It's Coop's Ice Chest IPA. Yes, it's good beer.
Alonso, how
Yes.
badly did Perez and all of these owners misjudge the current climate of football in Europe?
A lot. Because three of the owners in Premier League are Americans, right? And who's it for? Yeah. So three of the guys here in America are American born. So they haven't got a clue how this works. They're just silent and just not around, right? So they go by hearsay, in my opinion. So they only know what they're being told, right? And it's like the good old boys game, And the way they did it was unfortunate for us fans because it's just manipulation. They're just playing with our minds and they're thinking that this was a good idea, and clearly it wasn't from the get-go. And I believe it was halftime with Fulham and Arsenal, that it was announced. It was like breaking news. Holy crap, what was going on? And I had work that day, so I really wasn't. I knew what was going on, but I didn't really know what was happening until I got home and read the chat, and I was like, "This is pretty big news." But I also felt kind of sad because had this become reality, you're missing a lot of things, right? And the money isn't right now in football, and it's kind of selfishness and greed and a lot of misunderstanding. I think and it just was a bad idea from the get go, and it kind of shows the tyrant that Florentino Perez has, and he's not in depth with his tyrant. I don't think, and the repercussions of that, and the consequences that the big six would have had this went through, So, and the resentment was also there too. So it's like, how do you build off that?
Yeah, and I actually feel from today's game there was a little bit of resentment from the officials as well, the referee. But we'll get into that in a little bit, Gary. Gary, I said at the start before you came in. What did I say? Yeah, on the pregame podcast on Sunday, we actually thought these 5 days would be pretty boring. Didn't we joke about that? We said nothing's going to happen with Arsenal in these intervening 5 or 6 days until we play today. And lo and behold, let's go through the time scale.
Thursday.
It started last Thursday.
Yeah, you said that last Thursday that it would be a boring weekend.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, the Fulham game wasn't boring. Was it? I mean, it was boring to watch, but it was not. It was, another story Arsenal, gave us in this storied season. Another story to add to it. I mean, we finished our show, and within like an hour or so, ESL came about. I mean, I think it was like 11 o'clock.
Yeah,
11 o'clock. It was 11 o'clock
Monday night
local time in the UK. Next thing you know, teams are splintering and leaving.
Yeah.
The one, yeah, and that was the start of it. I mean, we've had a lot of action, a lot of activity going on since then. ESL is starting. ESL is going to be going away. ESL is gone. Everybody's having protests, right? Everybody's all the presidents are talking to their team, trying to talk to their fans, trying to get them to calm down, to trust them again. And we're still, a lot of fans are still. We've been trying to trust, KSE for a very long time, right? Nothing has panned out. Nothing has worked. So yeah.
We've even seen Liverpool, who you would think their fans would be quite fat and happy with a league title and a Champions League, becoming to mistrust Henry now as well. Tony, a pub question that might come up is, what was one manager that was fired by their club during the lifetime of the European Super League? And we all know that answer, right?
Yeah, the manager half our fans wanted. Little Jose.
Half of them, but I don't think any of those half are here on this podcast.
Yeah, none of us wanted him, but still half our fan base wanted him, which would have been a disaster with our players since they already dropped tools under Emery. We're sitting third going into the international break that year. Then
anyone think it was performance based, or was it based on some kind of objection to the European Super League?
That doesn't even make any sense. What that would be a reason to let him go. I don't.
It's performance.
Not at that point in the season. It seemed weird that they let him go for that reason. If it's, it's got to be more performance based.
Jose, yep.
I got info on that.
Well, that's why you're here. Spill.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
we'll tell you if you're full of it or not.
Okay.
on, spit
No,
it
no.
out.
Come on, Adam.
No, basically, what happened was that it came out, the Super League information came out, and the players demanded, the players refused to train, and they demanded a meeting with Levy and the owners. The players refused to train. Now, Mourinho, what does Mourinho do? He backs the players because no one knows what the hell is going on, so he backs the players. As a result, Levy thinks that, okay, well, you're not willing to work with me because you're backing the players. It's easier to get rid of you. Listen, whatever the PR on all aspects of the situation going on, the only thing in which believes me on Mourinho's side, because I do think he's a man of principle. I do think Mourinho is a man of principle, if I'm honest with you. But also as well, Tottenham, I know everyone's an Arsenal fan here, but there's no way on God's earth any club, not just Tottenham, any club would sack a manager days before a cup final, the first cup final for many, many years. I no, that is a telling sign that Mourinho actually backed the players.
Yeah, and he was fired.
And that doesn't make any sense because nobody believes he does that, right? So if
No,
that's the
hang on.
no.
He does have history in doing it, Gary. When he was Real Madrid manager, he had an issue with Florentino Perez, right? Florentino Perez at that time was in the process of banning the Real Madrid ultras, called Ultras Sir, who used to sit all behind the goal. Because he used that argument with Perez to support the supporters at the time. Listen, whether we think it's right or wrong, and the point being, Mourinho positions himself very, very intelligently if issues are going on within the club in which he's managing. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, but I mean, the reasons why he left the two jobs he had in the Premier League had a lot to do with how basically how his community, how his relationship with the players went, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, that's basically that's basically the reason why everybody thinks it's going to blow up eventually is because eventually he's just going to have a conflict with the way that his coaching style just conflicts with the players. Next, it makes sense. You can't let the manager go. I'm sorry, the players go, so you have to let the manager go because he's creating
I agree with you saying. Apart from Roberto Di Matteo, name me another club who has sacked their manager days before the cup final.
Yeah. No.
I said the first thing I said was it's kind of silly, right? That makes no sense, right?
Yeah.
It's not,
we're all in agreement here, Brownie.
I'm fully
we were robbed.
This rumor story.
This whole European Super League robbed us of the experience of Jose Mourinho being sacked.
And that was probably done on purpose, exactly, right? You know what? Arsenal fans can't even have fun with that because guess what?
Yeah.
You guys are part of the Super League, and you're gonna, So they did it perfect timing, right? Because we're not even we barely even talked about it. It's like ESL. Oh, and you know what? Jose's gone.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
right.
It's also because we do the film. That's why. And we're in 10th place. That's why we didn't talk about it.
Hey, I tell you what. Listen, if you lot are betting people, and after tonight, I may well become a betting person even more. Right? A little bet for you guys, because
God, there we go.
No, because I watched that Florentino Perez interview on Chicharito the other day. I'm telling you something. It would not surprise me if Mourinho turns up again at Real Madrid. There you go.
Here we go.
Okay. We'll leave it at that. That's fine. We'll leave it at that. We'll see what happens.
So
Right?
he goes there, and then next thing you know,
For on and on and on.
the whole Odegaard contract situation.
Right.
Odegaard,
Yeah.
Hey,
Martin.
So, Tony.
Look at Alonso. Alonso loves to laugh, I tell you.
No, because
Tony.
we have our own way.
So, Tony, as quickly as this European Super League was fashioned into existence, it all came crumbling down, namely due to the fans and the outrage amongst the supporters in England, worldwide too as well. It can't be just like the English supporters. We all had outrage against this because, it would have been exhibition matches, as we said on Sunday in the podcast, and Brownie was with us there. Exhibition games in New York, Dubai, as I said, and the Far East as well. Yeah. So, Tony, as soon as it fell apart, as soon as it was put together, it was a very hastily put together venture.
Yeah, I think it was put together this summer as a bargaining chip to get more money out of the Champions League for the top clubs. It wasn't a coincidence. We heard about it on the eve of a vote to change the format of the Champions League, which they did end up voting to pass, which seemed like nobody picked up in the news, and they actually did vote for the new format.
So, jumping into the new Champions League, what does that look like, Tony?
Is it 2 or 3 tables, Brownie?
2, I think.
What did you say?
Is it 2 or 3 tables within
The new Champions League format?
Yeah.
It's 2, but there's 4 extra teams that get to go, and 2 of the teams get to go in based off of some coefficient.
4 extra games for everybody?
Yeah, so like right now, if it happened today, Arsenal and the Spurs would get in, I believe, is how that works right now, based on the coefficient that they create. I mean, essentially, they just created. Instead of it being 12 teams that are stuck in the European League, in the European Cup or whatever you want to call it, now it's 2, at least 2.
Gary, it's a little bit like me saying December 26th. Our form since the December 26th been pretty good.
Yeah.
Hey, Stefan,
and Spurs would have been in there this year.
Great cast tonight, by the way. Thanks, Stefan. Really appreciate.
Yeah. Oh no! Oh, you know what? Did you see that? I know. Did Tony bring this up? I mean, I don't think Tony's heard of this, right? The owner of Spotify is gonna, wants to buy Arsenal. So
Swedish guy.
Our questions have been, all our concerns have been answered. Yeah. The best part is if you look at some of the comments below, they're like, he's gonna buy Arsenal, but he can't pay his artists. Yeah, that's gonna work, So it's like, so maybe he's kind of stingy with his money, which is probably a good thing because we go a little crazy with the money we've spent in terms of getting something back for it. So but yeah,
let's bring it back around to the events of the last 24 hours. Then, Tony, go on, kick us off. I was really heartened by the harmony of all the Arsenal supporters today and protesting. And as Gary said, this can't be once and done. It can't be a one day and we're done. We have to fashion this into an ongoing campaign, but one that has to benefit and be beneficial to the team as well. I'm not saying the team lost today because of the protests. The team lost because they didn't play well today. And I don't think we don't need to spend much time going into how they played today because it was not good.
Yeah, only when the weather says shit. There's weather
All
forecast.
right, calm down, Tony.
Well, that's how much time we need to spend on it. But I've been chronicky out forever. Everybody wants to sack
Chronicky. It's chronicky.
Nice one. That's
Cronky.
Chronicky.
Yeah, as I've said, I know it's a cop out, but I'm Arsenal in, and that means do the best thing for the club. I don't care what that is. If that means Kroenke has to go, then he has to go. If that means Arteta has to go, then he has to go. You know, I'll be a
What
little
if they
bit
both need to
concerned
go,
if
Gary?
that meant Saka has to go. Huh?
So what if they both need to go?
Then they have to go. I mean, right now I think I think a clean slate would be a good thing. We need to start, but it's got to be at the top. All right.
Don't get me
we
wrong.
gotta-
Yeah, don't get me wrong, Gary and Tony. I was not happy with the result today,
Yeah, but
and
you're still shitting rainbows and unicorns. You still believe
the
our
result today is
somehow.
just another one of it's just we are we're not surprised when we see those results. I mean, and it has nothing to do with the
You know
fans
what?
being outside. I
Brownie
mean,
Ripper.
if the team that played last week saw they're on the field and they saw the result there, they would want to come out the next game and basically show that that's just not the way that they play. And
So
even if it is Everton and they are a better team and they were healthy, they gave us the ball, so they gave us opportunities. We just didn't take them.
I've
Right?
said this before, Gary. Yesteryear, the team I started off my monologue talking about teams I supported down through the years, different Arsenal teams. The team that Lee Dixon was on would mark the calendar. If they were beaten by Everton at Goodison Park, he'd mark the calendar. Okay, we're going to get them back at our place, and we're going to get a win that day. No matter which way the wind is blowing, we're going to get a win that day. And Rob Holding was the captain at Goodison Park. He was the captain today, and we didn't get. I'm not saying it's Rob Holding's fault. We didn't get the win today that we deserve, that we should have had, because the team is not good enough. The team is not mentally strong enough. And another thing, Gary, we don't have a striker. When we don't have a Aubameyang and Lacazette, who are we putting in?
No, but we have players that could play in those positions, and they're not even. Some of them are not even on the squad, not even on the bench. So to say we don't have it is a stretch, right? We do. I mean, Martinelli supposedly that's where he's working. Why wouldn't he be playing in this game, right? We need to go to our third striker. Martinelli has supposedly been practicing there. You bring him in,
and he only got a few minutes, and it's not good enough.
and what's the point? Yeah, and what we're subbing with 70, 80 minutes left on into the clock. I mean, you're not trying to win the game if you do that. I mean,
not good enough. I'm going to go Alonso, Tony, and Brownie. Alonso.
It's almost today's result, right?
Yeah, talk about the Everton game.
Yeah. So when I saw the lineup at work, I almost had a fit because it's almost as if he's playing not to lose, but he's also playing not to win either. And Eddie Nketiah has had more chances earlier in the season to succeed, and he hasn't shown any of us that he's worth getting another look in, right? And that's the problem with Arteta. Is like he doesn't even know his best 11, and he doesn't even know his best backups either, because he keeps on messing around to think that this is it. At what point are we going to see a Gabriel and Mauri combination? We're not going to see a proper left back other than Xhaka. At what point is Ceballos going to just be on the bench? And I don't get it. I don't get why he just plays conservative instead of playing to win. And
too much loyalty, Alonso. The last few minutes it looked to me like, hey, William, you want to get on for a little bit? The last 5 minutes. Hey, William, come on, I'll give you a few minutes.
Yeah, and my mom was watching the game with me, and she was, oh no, not again, every single time, and this is a problem, right? This is a problem with not having scouts on our team, that we need players that can fit the system that Arteta wants to play, I guess. But, it's a bad deal. It is, and it's only going to get worse,
And it's frustrating as it is for me. I've nailed my colors. I've told you guys where I'm at with that. I want to give him another window. I know Again, you have to go through. You have to go through. As a supporter, you have to give the time to the manager and see what happens. We could be sitting here in October, Gary. Hopefully, we're all healthy and doing well
He's
in
had more
October.
time now. Emery.
Yeah.
Sitting here in October talking about Arteta, and we don't know
I mean,
what it's gonna look like.
We're going to see the same thing because nothing's going to change. I mean, they've got less money. Definitely less money now. They're paying fines and all this stuff. And something big has to happen for us to move ahead. And, and
There's got to be a lot of work this summer. Got to be a lot of work.
Yeah, and some of it should already happen. We should know some of it should have already happened by now. I mean,
well,
we need more football people in the house.
Oh, okay. You're not talking about playing staff. Okay, Gary.
Well, of course we need better players.
I know you said something ought to happen by now, and I thought you were talking about playing staff.
No. I mean, players are getting signed right now, so obviously it can happen if we wanted it to.
And I'm sure the dialogue is going on, and it's got to happen.
No, going on and getting it across the line is where we need to be.
Well, the window doesn't open
It need
yet.
to be like Chelsea was last summer.
As far as I know, Liverpool's already picked up a player.
Yeah.
So it can happen. So to say, it can happen. You can make those talks and be able to it be common knowledge that this player is going to your team, right?
I want to say the way Arsenal move, they keep all of that private. Gary,
they keep it private because they haven't done anything.
Gary, I thought Pablo Mari had a really, really good game, so he's going to be my nomination for man of the match. I thought Pablo Mari kept Dominic Calvert-Lewin. There, I said it correctly. Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I thought that Pablo Mari had a good game. He's my nomination for man of the match. Gary, what have you got?
Wow. You picked somebody out of this game. Wow.
Well, it's man of the match. We got to pick someone. Tony would be on me if I didn't do it.
No, I get that. Player of the match. Wow. Well, I can tell you who it's not, right?
Thanks to Brownie for coming on.
It's not Leno.
Yeah, not Leno.
Holding.
Do you want to get into that whole conversation? Did we sell the wrong keeper, Gary?
Well, he can't keep a goal. He can't, make a save from the short side of the goal. This is like the third time, in a season where they have no way to score. And through the legs, I think we've seen it before. Maybe not this season, but we've seen the ball go through his legs before. I mean, or I think this might be the second time it's gone through his legs. This was the worst. I mean, it's the worst of the fact that it's an own goal, which meant it wasn't even on target. I mean,
reminded me of the Champions League. I've got Champions League PTSD. It reminded me of the Champions League goal.
Barcelona scored. I mean, here's the thing. I can see your point with Marie, but I know that outside of Eddie, the front four seemed to Pepe just didn't get the ball, but I felt like Emile Smith-Rowe and I guess Pepe did get it somewhat, but I felt like Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe, when they got the ball, were able to put some pressure on them. Their finishing is not there, and that's kind of one of the negatives in terms of not being able to get something out of all the pressure that they put on there. The fact, like you said, the fact that they scored from a mishap by Xhaka and Leno, which, you know what? We always talk about mistakes in games. Our two biggest culprits right now, outside of Ceballos, basically did that. I guess
that goal occurred when we were substituting, and Ceballos was moved a little bit further forward. Ceballos is basically there as a protection for
Xhaka fell down.
Are you serious? Are you serious? 2 times. He had 2 opportunities to make a stop on that. You're going to blame the midfielder.
No.
That's what you just did. Why'd you bring up Ceballos at all?
I'm making a
Zaka fell
point.
down and it went
Two
right between
times.
Wayno's legs.
He had two opportunities to stop it, and you're going to bring up Ceballos being part
I'm
of the
not-
situation,
I'm-
part of the problem.
Just making a point. When I saw
No.
the two, what,
Look, you have your three back line were all lined up next to each other. That should be an easy ball to defend. Come on.
they walked out together. Did you see them walking out together? I've talked about Frankensteining the two of them together. You know, Sabaka or Jakalos.
You're blaming Ceballos for this.
I'm shipping their names along.
You can't. No, stop. Right.
No, I'm not blaming.
No, you
Why
already
do you
brought his
mention
name
his
up in the whole
name?
situation.
I'm
Why
poking.
did you mention his name?
But you don't. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't even sound right. The whole midfield was up a little bit. I mean, it's a long pass that happens. You should be able to defend it. We had three defenders back there. Three. One of them could have. Two of them could have come over to, especially after he gets past
One fell
Jacques.
down.
One of them should have been whoever was in the middle should have come over and cleared that ball away and made sure he doesn't attack. And then Xhaka falls down again.
Well, the one player does come over. He cuts kind of inside.
No, he doesn't come over. He doesn't come over the first time Xhaka falls down. He waits for him to get up and then run. He should be already over there and tell Xhaka protect the middle. Right? This is a game of communication. You brought up Ceballos. Now you got to tell me Saka and Milsrif Rowe the reasons why, because they didn't.
Sabaka.
Oh, man. No, you can't blame Ceballos for this one. I'm sorry, you're reaching.
Zeno.
Yeah, no. That had our senior leadership screwing up twice. And then our seasoned goalkeeper letting in a goal.
All right, so who's your nomination after all of that?
Wow, after all that, I guess I'm.
He's lost, right? You lost him.
No,
Yeah,
we have a real issue going into the semifinal, Gary, with Granit Xhaka left back. Do we persist with this? Do we persist? Well, I think Sabaka is the best one, right?
Yeah.
We Frankenstein the two of them together. We get a really great left back with a Ceballos and a Xhaka together.
You know what? When he took out Xhaka and he put in Emilio Ferro and to play alongside Partey, I like that. You get some of your best players on the field. If that means Saka has to move to a left back, so be. I mean, at some point you got to just put your best players on the field, and if that means you have to move Saka back, then you just do it, because I think we're going to need to do that. We can't be sitting back, going, you know what? I'm going to have to sit either Pepe, Odegaard, or Milsrif Rowe because I just don't have enough spots. No, Saka can play. Put him on the back line and let him play. He'll be involved.
And we might have to do that for the semifinal, right? That would probably be the best situation.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, that the defense was pretty good. DLC and Richard Charlison, basically. Yeah, Tony.
Save your monologue.
I'm not giving it to anybody.
At the start, Gary.
They don't deserve. None of them deserve it, so nobody gets it for me. Sorry.
All right, that's fair enough. A poor performance, Alonso. I'm going with Pablo Murray. What do you think? I think this guy needs to be maybe man of the match.
That guy doesn't exist, right?
Thanks, Alonso. Yeah. So for me, that partnership isn't as bad as people think it is. It's just we haven't created enough chances when they play together. It is what it is. But I think Hardy didn't have a bad game today either. Hardy didn't have a bad game.
He was lucky. He was lucky to be still on the field. The ref could have easily given him a second yellow card.
Very lucky. but I think he composed himself a little bit there at the second half. But yeah, you're right, Ray. It was very testy from Hardy because he could have got a second yellow card and got sent off, right?
It's John Moss. Come on.
Yeah. But it's tough to say really who made a good performance today. I guess I had to pick it Saka. I think he made the most runs. I think that he was most active inside the box. So I give it to Bukayo Saka.
Bukayo Saka, a player who always tries. You think he does get kicked a lot, and I think he's the kind of player who keeps on playing, and we need to be careful with his development. We've talked about that ad hoc on this podcast about Saka, where we're using him up with too many minutes for the season.
Because if you think about it, you remember years ago when we played Jack Wilshere next to Fabregas?
Impact injuries.
Yeah, he got really, really devastated by injuries. But that first year, the second year without Fabregas, he really shines. But
we all remember that Barca game, right?
Yeah, that was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's other issues. Like, what if Jack Wilshere was so healthy? He'd be the captain right now. And Arsenal will build the team around him. That's what we need to do with Saka, because that kid has so much talent.
Yep.
And you would hate to see that happen with Jack. To see that happen, what happened with Jack Wilshere.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Tony, good talk there about Wilshere, and we saw the height of his game against Barcelona in that game where we won the game 2-1. Jack Wilshere ran the show that night. Pity his career didn't hit those heights as much due to injuries, and we need to be careful about Bukayo Saka. Tony, who are you going to nominate? Who are you going to crown the man in the match?
I'm kind of like Gary. I really don't want to give it to anybody.
Pablo Mari, make me happy.
In the first half, the only thing we were getting going was the right side. Chambers and Saka were linking up pretty good. I think just based on being the best player I have to go with Saka. I almost wanted to go with Ceballos. He played good, but we still couldn't get anything going down the left side, so he didn't make enough impact on the game, so I have to go with Saka.
You're going to go with Saka. Okay. Tony, I did tell you over a year ago Pablo Mari was going to be good.
Maldini!
There you go. You can't say anything to the contrary. I thought Pepe had a decent game. He really, really tried. And I actually feel that Arteta losing patience with Pepe on the sideline. And I think it's a little bit unfair because there's other players out there that are stinking it up just as much.
I don't understand why. If Pepe doesn't get the ball, what is he supposed to do?
You get that feeling, Gary, that Arteta's losing patience with Pepe?
He doesn't understand his players if that's the case, right? He doesn't understand his players if that's his thinking, because there's no he's got everybody agrees. I think I agree with you with that one, but he's a special player and he needs to be you need to work with him a special way, and Arteta just doesn't want to do that.
Game changer,
right? And you know what? And time and time again, he has shown up. But if you put him in bad situations, surrounded by bad, players, it doesn't really work out, right? And then you're chasing a goal, right? I think, and you pull him.
Yeah.
No, he's the one player that can make something out of nothing, and you're pulling him. So, what's the point? Sitting here, I understand who they pulled. They pulled the Chambers.
Yeah, we can see you, Alonso. Good.
But no, it's Pepe. I mean, as much as he hasn't performed the way we would like, he does. He's one of our better offensive players, right? He's better than Saka. Imagine that. We like
I know.
Saka. Pepe doesn't get much games, but you look at his stats and you're like, oh wow, right?
Numbers.
He's still,
Yeah.
he's still performing. He just doesn't get enough time, and then like you said, doesn't feel like the manager's putting him in situations that actually he can perform in.
Yeah, Pepe's that high risk, but high reward as well kind of player. He's not going to give you that security that Bukayo Saka will, but like you said, Gary, he'll give you similar numbers. I want to say hi to Darren as well. Thanks for joining us, Darren. Always
Yeah.
great to have you.
I think there was at one point I either I read it or I heard it. He was screaming for the ball. He's got to give him the ball as soon as he's open. He shouldn't have to wait for it. And I think that's another problem you see with the team. We've taken so many extra touches. I mean, there was one play in the first half. I think it was Ceballos. Who's on the left side? It would have been.
Well, Pepe's on the left-hand side.
Yeah, I think it was Emil Smith Rowe actually who's taking the ball, gets to the goal line, and cuts it back. And Ceballos is turned, looking out at the touch line. What? You're inside the box. Turn and get ready to shoot at the goal. So he's got to take 2 or 3 extra touches. They crowd him out, and you're like, come on, people. I mean, this is standard stuff. Shouldn't you be ready to shoot when the ball goes in the box? You never know when the pass is going to come. I don't know.
Listen, if you're enjoying the podcast, slap a like on it. We are going to get into the Premier League preview and shock choice. I know.
Yeah.
I know there was some extra points gained by I think Gary and Sam as well, and Tony. I haven't updated the 3 of those, but you can see I'm closing in a little bit.
So my team won?
I think you got a draw.
I got
Oh,
I got
nice.
mine.
Brighton, Chelsea, remember?
Yes.
I will
yes.
I will
Nice.
update the boards. I will update.
So I got an extra. What is that? An extra
I don't know, 3 points maybe.
So I won too because I had
3 points. You just said 3 points. Oh, for the draw.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, for the draw. Alonso and I got the win. We did predict West Ham going down. Listen, we're going to cap this at about 2 hours, so we got about another 15. How many minutes we got, Tony? 15, 16?
18.
18 minutes, right? So let's get through. We're going to go to the game. It's actually Friday night here.
Yeah.
The Friday night forum. So tomorrow the games will begin. Really, really, it's annoying. Arsenal didn't get 3 points, but our league is in the pits. Our league form's in the pits right now, and it's all in. We're gonna have a little worried about the semi-final before we get out of here, but it's all in the Europa League now. But Alonso, tomorrow Liverpool versus Newcastle.
Is it at Anfield?
It's at Anfield, and hopefully the 3 of you have picked out your shock choice. You're upset.
I have not.
No.
Tony's gonna wing it.
So Liverpool are just too strong for Newcastle. Though Joe Willock's been on form, so I'll give it a draw, a 2-2 draw.
Yeah, if I was giving advice, I would say Newcastle have had their shock. They've beaten West Ham last weekend. We benefited. Alonso and I benefited from that. But it's not one I'm going to pick. I think Liverpool, the race now for the top 4 is very tight. We're not involved in it, unfortunately.
No
It's
shit.
very, very tight. And I think Liverpool are going to be in pole position. I think Liverpool get the win tomorrow, the first game. Let's go to Tony. What do you think, Tony?
Liverpool.
All right, Gary. 1-word answers from Tony. I like it. His final thought's going to be a long one. You know that, Gary.
Yeah. Wow. You know what? I'm gonna.
15 minutes on the clock.
I'm actually gonna take this big man upset pick. Yeah. Yeah.
You're taking this as your upset.
Max points.
Yeah.
I warned you not to do it. I advised
Oh,
you not
I
to do
know.
it.
It's either that or another game, and I just can't see that
No
one.
shit, Gary. There's a lot of other games.
Oh, God.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah, Gary, we just started this thing.
I
There's
know.
more
I know.
games.
I know.
And we
gonna go-
as Arsenal fans would get to watch our other teams jump above us.
That is the
Ray
crazy
made his
part,
pick.
right?
What's your pick, Ray?
Was my upset or was my pick? I said Liverpool will win tonight.
Okay, next team. Next game.
Next team. It's going to be a nice game. West Ham versus Chelsea.
Ooh.
West Ham have faltered recently, lost to Newcastle. Craig Dawson seems to be their Achilles heel. But Chelsea aren't playing well either under what's the guy's name? Tuchel. Tony.
Come on, Tony, hurry up.
Did he freeze?
Did he
Alonso.
freeze?
Let's mimic Tony.
It did freeze on us.
Tony.
Let's do the Tony pose. Come on.
All right, I got
No.
No, the other. Come on, Alonso. 3, 2, 1. Oh, and break. All right, Alonso. West Ham versus Chelsea.
so
London derby.
I think that Chelsea wins this game.
West Ham. You think West Ham are fading?
Gary? Me.
Oh, is that for
Alonso.
me? Sorry. Okay.
Well, it was Alonso.
Oh,
But
so you
right
know,
there.
it's unfortunate because they're really doing really good, you know, and you know I will want someone different in their top four. But yeah, you know it's kind of too bad, but you know I think Chelsea are just gonna be too much for them.
Gary.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter anymore, right? Doesn't really matter anymore.
It's
doesn't.
terrible. I know. I know.
Because you know what? Because we want Chelsea. We would have wanted Chelsea to win just so we could try to catch
Yeah.
West Ham, but I don't think we're going to be able to do that now.
That's a huge indictment on our league season. That it doesn't matter anymore. We're not looking at other teams to help us because we can't help ourselves, Gary.
Yeah, and I think Chelsea will win this one. I mean, the thing is, they're out of form, but they're so deep that you know they just need one player to kind of play out of their mind. I mean, Werner's got to be the biggest surprise of the season. I mean, and you can say he's out of form and stuff, but how many times are you going to be in front of the goal with just the goalkeeper and not even be able to put it on frame? I mean, yeah. Yeah, I have a feeling, you know, there's two teams behind us. One's got one game in hand and one's got 2 games in hand.
Tony talled out.
He's in the same position. Did you not even move? You just sat there?
Thunderstorm. Thunderstorm.
All right.
I said it was a big draw.
Blame it on the thunderstorm. Okay, Chelsea, West Ham. You think Chelsea, right, Tony?
I said draw.
Okay. Alonso, Sheffield United versus Brighton.
You know, I could see this as a Sheffield United win. I think that they're out of it now. I think now they're just playing for pride. And what better way to play for pride than knocking out someone who's also in the lower half of the league, right?
Yeah.
Who may get relegated themselves.
16 versus 20th.
Yeah, so you know, I think that the talent level is about the same. So I take Sheffield United as a 1-0 win.
Gary. Brighton are playing well. They got that draw against Chelsea.
Yeah.
Could go either way. It's really not a great game. It's a 3:00 game on a Saturday, 8 p.m. in the UK.
I guess I'm going to consider it an upset then. I think Sheffield will get something out of the game and get at least a point out of it. Who are they? Are they playing home? Yeah.
Yeah, Sheffield United
I
playing
mean,
at
they've,
home.
what I don't know. Are they on their fifth or sixth loss in a row? So
Sheffield United.
at some point they're going to win, right? They're not going to go the rest of the season without a win. So I
Yeah,
have a feeling they're going to get some points, and why not this weekend when they're playing probably one of the worst teams? They're going to, one of the worst teams they're going to play.
I think Brighton. I think Brighton get the win in this one. Tony.
Who gives a shit? But I agree with you, Brighton.
I do because I'm asking the question.
Nice.
Brighton.
Brighton. And you're contractually obliged to answer all of my questions.
I am.
Yep. Yeah. Let's not even get into that. You answer all his questions.
Hey, Tony, just respond in one word every time with us. All right.
How much time we got left, Tony?
We got 9 minutes and 30
5
seconds.
minutes.
9
All right.
minutes and 30 seconds.
9 minutes. Gary, Wolverhampton Wanderers at home to Burnley. Remember, I told you Burnley were playing well a few weeks back, and you laughed at me.
Yeah, but they haven't won since. So they had a win, and then they've lost 3 in a row. So
Gary, take Wolves next game.
Yeah, Wolves. Let's go.
Wolves will win. Tony?
Wolves.
Yeah, I think Wolves will. Yeah. No, I'm going to go for Burnley in that one, but it's not going to be my upset. Alonso?
I'm going for Wolves too.
You go for Wolves. Okay. I talked to Sam earlier. He is picking the same one as me. The next game, Leeds versus Man United. I think Man United will have their eyes on a Europa League semi-final, a lot like us. They'll take their eye off the ball, and Leeds could get a win at home. 10th versus 2nd. Alonso? So Sam and I are going for Leeds.
I'm going for
Alonso and Tony have yet to pick.
I'm going for Man United.
You're going for Man United. Okay. Gary, what's going to happen?
Well, if Bamford meant what he said, then they're probably going to come out playing pretty good. So, yeah, I can see Leeds getting something out of that game.
That should be a tasty game. It's a Lancashire derby. Manchester United Leeds. Speaking about old rivalries, that's an old rivalry. Tony? Keep me in check. Thanks.
Leeds next game.
You're going to go for what? Leeds?
Yep.
Is it your upset?
I said I'm riding with you and Sam. What do you
See,
understand?
guys, come on, Tony.
Leeds next game.
You're riding the hot hand. That's me.
I'm riding the hot hand. I've got points off Leeds 3 times.
Okay, Alonso, Aston Villa versus West Brom.
Ooh. Here we go.
Oh, shit.
Romano.
You
Romano.
got me now. So
Alonso Fabrizio.
I'm gonna go fast. So Kieran Gibbs tells Maitland Niles to play his butt off because he wears a captain's armband, right? So I think it'd be a 3-0 upset over Aston Villa. Thank you, Kieran Gibbs. Good night.
I think we have to open up a new section, a new segment called.
We already said that. Were you not there when we said it?
Yeah, maybe.
We said we have the. We were a little upset because we didn't get it the last show.
Oh yeah.
I'll put it in the next one. We only have a few more weeks. You know they're going to get relegated, right?
Right.
The Kieran Gibbs section. Love it. Love it, Alonso.
Thanks.
Gary, what have you got?
Wow.
Villa,
Is this
Villa are
is
not
this-
playing well.
Well, you know what? They have 2 games in hand, and they're 2 points behind us.
I'm over that. I'm over that already.
You're over that? Well, it's
Yeah,
gonna.
He's upsetting us.
we're really bad.
Missing
We're a
Kent.
mid-table team. We're mid-table.
Wow. It's gonna be a close game, but I think it'll be a draw.
Okay,
Yeah.
Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah, the villains are playing like shit, but they'll still win this.
All right. Final game: Leicester versus Palace. Alonso, you have not picked an upset. This is the last game. Is this your upset pick?
No, it was West Brom.
Oh, you're picking West Brom. Okay. Right,
think
Leicester
it'll
versus
be
Palace. Who wins, Alonso?
I think Leicester wins this game.
Leicester. Leicester move on, and they continue to be one of those teams above us. But we're going to be in the European Super League, and Leicester or not, West Ham or not. Doesn't make sense, right,
But
Gary?
I thought, oh,
It's not based on merit. You know that, right?
then,
Leicester or Palace, Gary.
Leicester.
And Tony. We round it out.
even though they're not at Selhurst Park, I think for some reason Crystal Palace will nick it. I almost went with this as my upset pick, but I'm not confident enough. So I'm gonna say a
Can I
draw.
convince you?
I'm gonna say a draw.
Can I convince you to go with Palace?
You can.
Injuries. Leicester don't have players. Madison's not playing, right? Yeah, never mind. Just kidding. All right. Alonso, let's bring it home. Let's final thoughts here, Alonso. Today was a good day for me in that the Arsenal base came together. The fans came together for one single purpose. I can't imagine there's one fan out there that is pro Stan Kroenke at this point in time. They showed who they are, and the Arsenal fans are not going to forget that.
Yeah, right. And also, I think that I wish that the position that Josh Kroenke is in, that he would maybe answer better and just be mindful of the fans and how important we are, no matter how we see our club. I think it's important that he sees that united front. But also, at the end of the day, I think who wins out is the fans of the Big Six, because not only did our voice matter, but Liverpool's, Man United, Man City's, Chelsea's, all their fans matter, and even Tottenham fans. And Gary Neville made a good point about this, decision that would have went bad had we not spoken out about it. And he was a big stepping stone for that. Even though he's an another player and now a pundit, he made a big rant that made a lot of sense to a lot of us fans who care. No matter if you're American, no matter if you're English, Asian, African, we're all fans here, and we know Arsenal, we know football. And at the end of the day, we're all allies here. We want the best for our club, but also we want the best for football.
Yeah, Alonso, great point, and something I wanted to bring up. So thanks for mentioning that. That's fire. That's brilliant stuff. The power of the supporter, the English supporter, and the worldwide supporter. It crosses tribalism. It crosses rivalries. When somebody or something comes along to interfere with the fabric of the game that we know, like my monologue at the start, the game that I love, I didn't see that in the last 5 days or the 2 days that ESL was going to be there. I didn't see an opportunity to be competitive or to want to be competitive. And this has brought the football world together. We're going to go back to having rivalries with Liverpool and Man United. But, Gary, there's something very heartening when the whole football world comes together as one. There's something very comforting, right?
Yeah, it's probably the first time that somebody said that they would be on the same side as a Spurs fan in terms of what's going on in football. I mean, I think all the fans are in agreement that there's nothing wrong with the structure and the play that they have. You got to earn your keep, right? If you don't, you get relegated, or you just don't get to go to the extra cups and play in Europe. You got to earn it. And that's the thing that makes it really a really good sport. It's because it's what at any time you can struggle and lose, and then you can get knocked out and knocked down and get knocked out. So yeah, I like you said, the protest I think was really successful, but it requires more. I I hope they have something really good planned if and when they do have fans in the stands. Something that actually sends a message.
Mhm.
You know, the whistle blows and all the fans just disappear. That would, if that
Well,
if that happened,
The Liverpool fans did vacate the stadium in a Sunderland game or a Southampton game
yeah,
recently in years gone by.
yeah. I mean, it sends a message if fans decide to do that. I understand the whole concept around you paid for the ticket, now you're wasting it, but it's your decision. And
Yep.
they need to do something to show that what, we're not happy with the way things are going. You're gonna have to do better. They keep saying they're gonna do better, and all we're seeing is the same old, same old. So nothing's
Yeah.
changing.
Like
Uh,
the Cronkies have said that before,
yeah,
but they have not changed anything.
we've wanted Arsenal to stick to it, right? Stay on point. What is the plan? We want something better for our team, and people are trying to derail that plan. Every time we turn around and somebody out there trying to derail it.
Yeah.
The trick is you just can't take the bait, right? Can't take the bait.
Yeah. No, you gotta keep your mind focused on the end goal here, and it's about an ownership that's not good for us in the end. As Stefan said here, I think this has been a wake up call for Cronkies, Glazers, and FSG. Henry, let's not forget Sheikh Mansour and Abramovich as well.
Yeah.
I think a lot has been said about the American ownership, and it's true as long as you don't hold their citizenship against them.
Yeah.
They're not good for English football because of their mindset, because of their greed.
Well, they're businessmen, so they're going to look to find
Businessmen.
ways to make more money. So, as much as it could be Americanized, it's people looking to make more money, and
Mhm.
everybody knows that they're trying. This isn't just the first time. This is the first time they've maybe put pen to paper and said, "This is what we're going to do," and they didn't think that one through. I mean, everybody's trying to make more money, right? I mean, there are 6 other teams involved in this thing, right? All looking for the same thing, all looking for a big payday,
Mhm.
right? And they essentially
And
got it, right? They essentially got it.
And they have to earn the trust of the other 14 as well, Gary. And I
You say
feel like
14. See, the thing is, you're saying 14. It's not 14. It's like 90.
Yeah.
Right? They're not every team should have a say. They're not. Any team that decides, like Brownie said, when he started, supporting Cardiff, they're one of the worst teams in English football, right? And he's kind of grown with them and seen them get to this point where they are now, where they're one step away. If they have a good season from playing in the Premier League, that's the problem. Is everybody keeps saying 20 teams? It's not the same 20 every year, so it can't be 20.
you're right.
I mean, right? I mean,
Listen.
we see some of the same teams come up, like Norwich is going to come up, but then there's other teams that may come up as well that weren't there last year.
That's the beauty of the game we love. There's that opportunity for promotion. You don't have that in the U.S. teams. Listen, great chat today. Thanks, Alonso. Thanks, Gary. And thanks, Tony. No,
Hey, I
Tony.
haven't said my final words yet.
I'm just kidding, Tony. Go ahead.
I have one last thing to say.
I think we should put up a big screenshot of a Grinch that stole Christmas, because greed's been part of football for decades now. Like I said, starting off next year, the World Cup's being a winner, which is throw everybody's schedule off. We have to shift everything because people were bribed to vote to have it
Yes.
in Qatar, Qatar, however the fuck you want to say it, since people
Qatar.
changed the way you say it now. Is it Qatar or is it Qatar?
That's why he's the timekeeper. He's not the pronunciation guy. Qatar.
I'm asking because people changed it. It used to be Qatar, now it's Qatar.
I'm going with Qatar. Gary, how do you pronounce it, Gary? Erdegaard.
Erdegaard, yeah.
The Swedish chef doesn't know.
Erdegaard. Qatar, but it's funny because everybody talks about that whole situation, and like you said, we don't talk about it enough. We've got so many. We're as far as Arsenal fans, we've got so many fires right here. It's hard to talk about.
Thanks, Darren.
What's going on in Qatar and stuff like that, right? The Euros.
Yeah, I mean it's really a shame. It's really a light on the football world. It should be highlighted more, and I think as it comes closer, it will be highlighted more. And you know, a lot of people have died just to build some stadiums. So
Just think about
or-
the Brazil World Cup, right? They built stadiums that in the middle of jungles that are
Yes.
sitting empty.
Yeah.
Same thing with I think it's Japan. They build all that infrastructure for an Olympics. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. I know in the states in Atlanta they did all that construction, but then they turned it into apartments and whatnot. So they're being reused, right? I mean, as somebody was saying, I think some of these bigger tournaments should be in the most established places, not to shun the smaller countries. Maybe the smaller countries should be like the co-country, and monies gets supplied to them because that's what they're looking for. Nobody does it. Nobody's saying, "Oh, I want the Olympics or I want the World Cup for the prestige." No, they're looking for the money. So why don't they give them the money and not have them wasted on corruption, which is basically what happens right when you build a stadium, and then you have all these people dying. Maybe you support those countries that might need it more than you, right?
Yeah, a bigger discussion needed, and we'll have plenty of time through the summer to do that. Tony, did you get everything out that you needed to say in your final thoughts?
Did it sound like I was done yet?
I don't
It
know.
always sounds like you're done,
You always,
Tony.
you always leave that window open and a little bird flies in, right, Gary?
It's every
Alonso?
time,
Yeah.
and then two birds fly, and then he gets upset.
Damn it,
When I do my final thoughts, I do short words sometimes, then it's
Just
over.
say,
But I'm
hi,
not
my
done
name
yet.
is Tony. I support Arsenal. They suck. The end.
Anyway,
All right, Tony, I'm giving you 30 seconds.
back to Qatar.
Qatar.
I don't know why people just now are seeing greed in football. To me, the Champions League, it needs to be replaced. It needs to be done different. Because here in the States, none of the quarterfinal games are aired in English. You had to watch them in Spanish unless you wanted to pay Paramount Plus money to watch the game, which is ridiculous. Egregious throughout the sport. One of these days, all the sponsors just say, "Why are we paying this money when people are sitting here illegally streaming it?" Because you have to have a subscription to a service when it's not on TV.
Gary, you get the lights when we leave.
But back to what we started off with on Chronic Out. I don't know why the fans are just now picking up on it again. I've been Chronic Out since he got his 30%, I think. For Russian should have got it, the club. I think he would have did more with it, invested his money. Kroenke's just looks at the land. Oh, I can get money from this. Takes a loan out against the land, which we took out more money this summer for the stadium, which people try to say is paid off, but it's actually not paid off now. I lost my fucking train of thought.
You distracted yourself.
You put yourself to sleep.
I don't think the European Super League was as bad as people put it out to be.
Tony.
I think it's Arsenal would have been stupid not to try to join the 6 teams from Europe. If your neighbors sitting there going, Liverpool and everybody else, you have to join. I just don't. I think people made way too big of a deal of the European Super League. Now, Ray, you can have your fucking final thoughts.
Here's my final thought.
Jesus
Tony
Christ.
will be our closer tonight. All right, we'll get out of here. Thanks, Tony. Really appreciate. You went quiet there the last week. You been okay? The last day or so, you've been okay?
Just fighting depression. I do this time of year, missing my grandma, just stormy weather, just kind of been in a blue mood.
Hang in there. We're all here for you, okay? Everyone in the chats as well.
And this walking on the leg is pain in the ass and it hurts like hell.
Listen, people I was watching or in the chats, anyone watching, please, I'm going to put a link in the description here. Let's try and get Tony some cash here for his permanent prosthetic leg. He needs it. Alonso and Gary, thanks for joining as well.
Yeah.
See you guys. Take
And
care.
Sam sat this one out. And
Count Sam.
thanks
Get
to,
his virgin blood in.
Yosemite Sam sat this one out. And thanks to Brownie for dropping in as well. Listen, we're out of here. We'll see you on the next one.
See ya.
Today, despite the result, today was a good day. The fan base united against one common
but before the game, everything before the game
was good.
Except for the guy falling off the press box. That was bad.
Yeah, that was not good. But you know what? That's going to happen when you bring people together. Something stupid, silly is going to happen.
Let's
you got
hope
people burning flags, you got people getting injured, you got,
Let's hope that person is okay.
Yeah.
And let's please understand, following football is a global thing. You can be a legacy fan, and we do appreciate legacy fans, the ones who go to the games every week. They're every bit as important as all of the other fans. Don't you think we wish that we could be in your shoes and going to the games every week? We can't do it. Unfortunately, it's not geographically possible. We're all in this together. We're all Arsenal fans. And legacy fan, Stefan, that's just a new thing, I think. A legacy fan. Until the next one, we are out of here. 3, 2, 1. Say goodbye, Gary.
See ya.
Final comment.